It switched over to night sight on me. I gotta figure out how to join these two videos now. You can see there's like one of the original stalks right there. And then this is more of that Seminole pumpkin, and it is just taking over everything, trying to teach it that it would like to go up the trellises that I'm giving it. More sunflowers, again, part of the shade strategy. Just like this cauliflower that I know can withstand Arizona summers. Is part of the shade strategy. Typically, you don't see that in cauliflower, but I think it's Twister and Snowball are two varieties that actually stand up to the summer here. This should be Skyflower, but it needs to actually flower, so I can confirm that by looking at the leaf shape. Skyflower. There's a fig that I grew from a stem. That's a sunflower with 3 stems. I don't know why it has 3 stems, but I decided to cut the head off the main stem to see if it would branch again. I just did that last night, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Some more sunflowers, some more cucuberts. Just over there, the dead oleander. I see a lot of lizards that come out of my neighbor's oleander, so I grabbed a whole bunch of my dead oleander and decided to make myself a little lizard highway so they could get into my garden. Eggplant, so that I can eat memes. This is a vermicompost bin. This is a vermicompost bin. I just barely put this in, but we can look and see what's going on in here. Ew, it's really slimy. I don't want to, I'm not, yeah. Pardon me while I wipe my hands off on mulch. That's very effective. You should try it at home. Don't try it at home. Yeah, you can see, again, concerns about what are they called? Root-knot nematode have me putting out all kinds of marigolds. I also just like marigolds. I did one of those genetic trait tests with Ancestry, and it turns out that I can smell things that other people can't, like asparagus pea and certain compounds like cis-3 hexanol in tomatoes. So tomatoes smell absolutely disgusting to me. The smell and the flavor of raw tomatoes makes me want to vomit. Here we've got some moon and stars, watermelon coming up. We've got some beans. We've got a pumpkin. Oh, we've got, that looks like it's going to be a butternut squash. So that's cool. I need the bees to go in there and have an orgy. Just in case they're already having one, I'm not going to open that up and look and see what's happening. Over here, I had like a bag of dirt and a spot, and I just stuck I stuck corn and cucuberts and sunflowers, and by cucuberts I mean I just took a whole bunch of like different ones. You could see like one took off, so like this is like the 7 sisters garden. I just like took all of the sisters from the 3 sisters and all of their variants and stuck them in there together. This is Hairy Balls milkweed, and there's a mosquito. Oop, it saw me. Oh, there went the wasp. The wasps really like this. I'm pretty sure I saw either a queen or a monarch butterfly on here earlier. But the wasps are my #1 visitors right now that I can tell. So, hot take on tropical milkweeds. Tropical meaning not just the variety called tropical milkweed. But the ones that don't come from North America, that come from tropical regions where they don't drop their leaves, you got to cut them down to the woody stems every year around Thanksgiving. And the importance of that is the leaves can build up the OE parasite. I don't know the scientific name of the OE parasite, but it starts with an O and an E. And the rest is Latin. That OE parasite can build up in the green leaves over time, especially over the winters, and seriously disrupt the ability of all the butterflies and moths that use milkweed to reproduce and metamorphize. So it's really important to do that cutback if you're going to grow something from another hemisphere, whether that's from the southern hemispheres or like even here, like not even southern hemisphere, but just like South America or Central America. South Africa is of course in the southern hemisphere, but most of South America is in the northern hemisphere, if I understand maps correctly. I've got a hibiscus going here that I've trained the pumpkin up and through. Trying to get it to come out here, waiting for this flower to come out. But you can see I've got another tomato growing back here. Got another tomato dying back here. I don't know what tomato that was supposed to be, but the fruits didn't look good, so I just kind of stopped watering it. I don't really like I said, I don't like raw tomato anyway, so if a tomato doesn't work out for me, oh well. We got Texas Ranger, we got that highway, we got a bag of cement that was here when I moved in and that I haven't done anything about. I got a piece of trash I can pick up. Yoink! And you can see I've got a lot of like pots and stuff rolling around. I have to remember to take these back to, you can take them back to Home Depot or Lowe's. Both stores have recycling programs where it's the same company at both stores, but Home Depot kicked it off where they realized the pots weren't recyclable, and so they got in touch with a company, or a company got in touch with them, something along those lines, to make the pots recyclable. Or there was a company that said, hey, we can recycle these pots. All of them, and so some of the pots get reused as is, some of them get so some of them are just wash and reuse, like this is pretty sturdy, wash and reuse. This less sturdy, probably maybe wash and reuse, maybe or maybe it just gets recycled through some other way, but a lot of it gets turned back into other pots or other plastic goods. Home Depot didn't corner the market on that. They didn't see any reason to not let Lowe's get in on it. You can talk to your local nurseries to see if they also participate in some way. I think a lot of the local nurseries will probably just take the pots back and try and find a use for them. But that's why I let them accumulate and I don't just take them out to the trash. Don't take your pots out to the trash. Take them back to at least Lowe's or Home Depot. Even if you didn't buy them there, they will take any and all nursery pots. So you can take your Home Depot pots to Lowe's. You can take your nursery pots from your local nursery to Home Depot. They don't care. You just bring them to the garden section or to the customer service desk, what have you. They'll do it. Here's another big dead area where I sprayed a bunch of stuff, but you can see I've got the trailing fork box, also known as spiderling, coming back in. This is my area where I didn't want spiderling to grow because it's really sticky. You can see how that's going. There's some aquarium foam for some reason, and there's a pine cone. But this is good news that the spiderling is growing because it means I didn't completely sterilize my garden. Uh, you look like a 4 o'clock. Give you some space to grow. I've been trying to figure out what you are. Because so many of the baby leaves, the first leaves, I forget what they're actually called, look the same on seedlings. But yeah, I mentioned there I had that going up. If you're ever growing something like this, is going to be some sort of winter squash. I can tell because it has tendrils and big leaves, and that's typically winter squash behavior. Once it actually has flowers, I'll have a better idea, because it still could be a what do you call it? It could be, because those flowers do look kind of small, so this could be potentially like a cantaloupe or some other similar melon, some sort of muskmelon. Get those leaves off the ground so they don't infect the plant. Oops, stink net. So this is a very tiny version of what I was dealing with. You can see this tiny little plant can produce that entire head. That whole flower head can probably produce hundreds of little seeds. I don't know what the actual number is, but I threw it over there because that area is pretty sterile. Got another Tacoma stance, yellow bill, right there coming up. That's a lantana. It has some berries. But anyway, this is pretty much the garden. Got citrus. Used to be citrus, but it died. Citrus. Hibiscus tree. But yeah, that could well be a cantaloupe. I really got to see the flowers. So like I said, the flowers do look kind of small, so I might be wrong about it being. Excuse me? Yeah, I could be wrong about it being squash. But I didn't have very much success with cantaloupe last year, so hard to say. But that's everything from a distance over there. You can kind of get a bigger picture of everything. We'll do the front yard later when I'm less self-conscious about walking around and talking to a phone.